They say one player can't carry a league, but what if that player does more than just carry? What if she drags an entire sport into the spotlight, turns empty seats into sellouts, and makes networks fight over broadcast rights that once struggled for attention? That's exactly what happened when Caitlin Clark stepped onto the W stage. Overnight, it wasn't just basketball. It was a cultural event, a financial turning point, and the spark of something that felt unstoppable. But here's the twist. Momentum is only as strong as the people willing to protect it. For every sold-out arena, there was an undercurrent of doubt. For every highlight clip racking up millions of views, there was a contract, a pay scale, and a league structure that didn't seem to match the reality fans could see with their own eyes. The story of Caitlin Clark isn't just about points and assists. It's about what happens when the brightest star shines in a system that doesn't know how to handle the glare. And that's why today, we're diving into the rise, the disrespect, the injury that shocked the season, and the boardroom battles now shaping the future of women's basketball. Stick with me, because once you see the numbers, the offers, and the leverage in play, you'll realize this isn't just about one rookie contract. It's about who gets to own the next decade of the game.
I noticed when you're asking about Caitlin a lot, you bring up other rookies as well.
No league's ever about one player. That player could get hurt or whatever. So I think it's just to give recognition that in sports, people watch for compelling content and rivalries. And you can't do that alone as one person.
When Caitlin Clark first stepped into the league, it didn't feel like another rookie arriving. It felt like a cultural earthquake. Her games weren't just sporting events. They were must-watch moments. Parents dragged their kids to arenas, resale tickets skyrocketed overnight, and suddenly the words "sold out" were becoming a regular part of WNBA headlines. For years, the league had begged for this kind of attention. Clark didn't just bring it, she overwhelmed the system with demand. And it wasn't just the crowds. Highlights of her logo-range threes went viral across every platform. Kids on playgrounds tried to copy her form, and people who hadn't tuned into women's basketball in decades suddenly knew her name. She wasn't just an athlete, she was a symbol, a brand, a proof of concept that women's basketball wasn't a niche product. It was prime time. Broadcasters saw the ratings jump, sponsors saw merchandise fly off shelves, and the entire conversation around the WNBA shifted almost overnight. That's also why I want to pause for a quick note. If you're enjoying this breakdown and you want deeper coverage of stories like this, we've built something for you. Head over to basketplay.online, where you can sign up for our free newsletter and instantly grab a free guide packed with exclusive insights on women's basketball. It's the best way to stay ahead of the curve, especially as stories like Clark's keep evolving. And don't worry, it's free, and it's built to give you more than you'll find scrolling headlines. So check it out. The link's in the description.
Never seen a company fumble the bag so hard like the WNBA fumbled Caitlin Clark. It sucks that so much of it was riddled with so much drama and so much negativity.
Numbers don't lie, and these numbers stung. Caitlin Clark's rookie contract was a 4-year deal worth just $338,056, which breaks down to around $84,000 a year. For context, that's less than many assistant coaches in men's basketball make, and less than a middle manager at a mid-sized tech company might earn. And yet, she was the one responsible for record-breaking ticket sales, historic viewership gains, and a surge in sponsorship interest that leagues had chased for decades without success. Now, it's true Clark has endorsements. Her Nike deal, reported to be worth up to $28 million over 8 years, proves that brands see her value loud and clear. But here's the difference. Endorsements come from the outside. They're recognition from companies that want to attach themselves to her star power. What really matters is how the league itself values its players. And on paper, the league valued the most important rookie in its history at less than 6 figures a year. That gap didn't just look bad, it was a PR nightmare, fueling the perception that the WNBA had no clue how to treat the one person who had given them everything they'd been asking for. Fans noticed. Commentators noticed. And soon the conversation wasn't just about basketball anymore. It was about fairness, optics, and whether the system was fundamentally broken. Because if your league can't pay its own savior like a star, how long before someone else steps in and does?
Here in the W, we pride ourselves on having a super welcoming,
Donor gets stoned!
calm, low-stakes environment.
Boston will hoist.
She hit it!
Where communication is highly valued.
Whoa, it's getting chippy.
Collaboration is always encouraged.
Oh, what a pick!
We are devoted to working extra hard. We've been delivering astounding results since 1997.
Back to back.
Because this is a place where basketball matters.
Beautiful pass and a good catch and finish. Big time!
And if you love
Oh, Enrique!
real
Thomas with the spin move.
basketball,
Unforgettable finish!
welcome to the W.
Spotlights come with shadows, and for Clark, the glare of fame came with relentless pressure. Every opponent circled her games on their calendar. Every possession was physical. To some, it looked like rookies being tested the old-fashioned way, hardened by tough defense. To others, it looked like something more sinister, a pattern of unchecked fouls, hip checks, and rough play that went unpunished. The debate quickly became bigger than basketball. Was the league protecting its most important player, or leaving her exposed to prove a point? It wasn't just on the hardwood. Online, the discourse grew heated. Every hard foul sparked arguments across social feeds. Clips slowed down and replayed became viral debates. Too soft clashed with too dangerous. Instead of celebrating her record-setting attendance numbers, fans were locked in arguments about whether the WNBA was sabotaging its own future by letting its brightest star take unnecessary punishment. The tension built like a pressure cooker, each game bringing more scrutiny, each whistle, or lack thereof, adding fuel to the fire. And that's the cruel irony of success. When you're the biggest draw in the room, you don't just get cheers, you get tested. The league cashed in on her name, but the silence in protecting her body was deafening. And eventually, silence carries a price.
They try so long to get respect for women's basketball, and then they treat it like a junior high school girl's locker room. Junior high school girl antics on the court. Instead of playing the game, they got to be drama because they're jealous. Instead of letting their skills speak for themselves, they got to be drama because they're jealous.
That price came due in mid-July 2025. What was initially brushed off as a nagging issue turned into breaking news. Caitlin Clark had suffered a groin injury and was officially ruled out for the rest of the season. Just like that, the fairy tale halted. For fans, it was devastating. For the Indiana Fever, it was a gut punch. And for the league, it was the nightmare scenario. The one star who had become the heartbeat of the WNBA was suddenly sidelined. Headlines tried to frame it as bad luck, but context matters. For months, the chatter had been about whether Clark was being protected enough. So when the injury hit, it didn't just feel like an accident, it felt like the inevitable consequence of neglect. For the WNBA, the optics were brutal. They had leaned on Clark's star power for ratings, attendance, and sponsorships. But when she needed the league to lean back in her favor, she was left exposed. The injury didn't just bench a player, it put the league's entire business strategy on trial. Because if your growth depends on one phenom, what happens when she's gone? That question is what shifted the story from sports to business, and why the real drama was only just beginning.
We have heard nothing from the WNBA, absolutely nothing.
Brittany Griner elbowing Caitlin Clark in a crazy way and then calling her a trash white girl.
And Brittany Griner has not commented, which I find significant. I've watched that video countless times, and it sure looks like Brittany Griner says, white girl.
Here's where the game moved off the court. While Clark rehabbed, the phone calls started, and they didn't come from the WNBA. Rival leagues saw an opportunity, and they weren't subtle. The loudest voice was Ice Cube's Big Three League. In 2024, Cube publicly confirmed a $5 million offer for Clark to play in an 8 to 10 game stretch. Later reports inflated that number into claims of $10 to $15 million tied to possible media rights and partnerships. Whether those bigger numbers were PR spin or reality didn't matter. The point was clear. Outsiders valued Clark more in 10 weeks than the WNBA did in 4 years. Then came Unrivaled, the new 3-on-3 league co-founded by Brianna Stewart and Nafisa Collier. Their pitch was revolutionary, not just a paycheck, but equity ownership. Reports suggested top players could earn over $1 million for just 3 months, with actual stakes in the league itself. In 2025, Unrivaled announced expansion and a stunning $340 million valuation, proving it wasn't just a pipe dream, it was real competition. For Clark, that meant she wasn't just being courted with money, but with power. This was the turning point. The rookie contract, once seen as a trap, now became leverage. Suddenly, Clark didn't have to beg for respect. The market was screaming it for her. The WNBA could no longer assume she was locked in. She had options. And options change everything.
Higher television ratings, higher attendance figures. Ladies and gentlemen, that doesn't come courtesy of a league. It comes courtesy of the players that play in the league. And in her case, she was the most popular, which means she could have helped your bottom line, which means you should have seen that from day one and maximized it. But you didn't do it.
So where does that leave her? There are 3 possible roads, and each one has ripple effects. Path 1. Stay and reshape the league. Clark could use her leverage to demand change inside the WNBA. Better player protection, revamped pay structures, and marketing deals that reflect the reality of her impact. If the league is willing to evolve, she could be the architect of its golden era, locking in supermax extensions and setting a precedent for future stars. Path 2. Split her time. By combining WNBA seasons with opportunities like Unrivaled in the winter, Clark could have the best of both worlds, dominating domestically while building ownership stakes elsewhere. That path doesn't just diversify her income, it diversifies her influence. Path 3. The nuclear option. Walk away when her contract ends. Take her millions of fans, her endorsements, her marketability, and shift them to a different stage entirely. It's the most shocking possibility, but thanks to the offers already on the table, it's not unthinkable. And the fact that it's even a realistic option is what terrifies the WNBA most.
And everybody talk about other WNBA players not being appreciated. Nobody insulted them. Nobody dismissed their contribution. We were simply saying, despite the contributions for years and years and years, a lot of people didn't care. Fair or not, until Caitlin Clark came along.
Here's the truth. Caitlin Clark didn't ask for this. She just wanted to play basketball, to win, to compete. But sometimes, history doesn't give you a choice. Sometimes, the system's flaws force you to become more than an athlete. You become the mirror reflecting everything broken and everything possible. Clark has already proven she can fill arenas and spike ratings. The only question left is whether the league will finally treat her as the centerpiece she is, or watch someone else do it first. And here's where you come in. These conversations aren't just happening in boardrooms. They're happening in communities of fans who care about the future of the game. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and drop a comment sharing what path you think Caitlin Clark should take. Your voice fuels the debate, and it helps this channel grow so we can keep covering the biggest stories in women's basketball with the depth they deserve. Also, don't miss out on the free newsletter at basketplay.online. By signing up, you'll not only get exclusive women's basketball updates sent straight to your inbox, but you'll also unlock a free guide that breaks down key insights into the game's business and culture. It's fast, free, and it gives you more than you'll find in the headlines. So check it out, sign up, and join the community. Together, we're not just watching the story, we're shaping it.